Let's give you a little bit of a rundown on how your hot water system works and how it works through the various seasons of the year. Here, we have a standard Moen shower valve. And the two most common shower valves that you're gonna see out there are gonna be a Moen or a Delta. There's tons of other brands. They're all gonna operate a little bit differently. However, they are gonna operate from some of the same principles. We're gonna show you a couple of things that it could be. So this standard Moen shower valve starts with the handle in the 6 o'clock position. And then to turn it on, we rotate it counterclockwise. In the 3 o'clock position, we're gonna have all cold water. In the 12 o'clock position, we're gonna have a mixture of warm water. And then when we go all the way backwards to the 9 o'clock position, we're gonna have the hottest water that we can get. Now that we understand that, let's take one real quick second and show you something that might be going on just inside your shower valve that would prevent you from getting the water temperature that you would like. To do that, we're gonna take the handle off. So let me go grab some tools real fast. We'll get the handle pulled off of this thing and I'll show you what goes on inside it. So to get the handle off on the Moen shower valve, there is a set screw up underneath the handle. You can work upside down, or you can just turn it on for a minute, and then you can see the set screw nice and easy. The set screw comes off, the handle comes off. Now, we can just rotate this back, and now our shower valve is back off. Now that the handle is off, this black device here is called a handle adapter. We're gonna pull this off as well. This takes a Phillips head screwdriver. We have to hold the adapter firmly to prevent from just turning the shower on when we take this off. So this handle adapter is actually what rotates the stem inside the shower. But these little white devices here, these are called cams, and these are what I want to talk about that might be going on in your shower. A few seconds ago, we just talked about how your handle rests in the 6 o'clock position, and then you rotate it counterclockwise. 3 o'clock is cold, 12 o'clock is a mixture of hot and cold, and then hot water, all the way hot water is 9 o'clock. Well, these little cams, you can rotate them, and you've got this base cam just rests in the device. This is your adjustable cam, and I can actually rotate it and then put it back in. It sets in there with some teeth that line up with some teeth inside here. Well, what this does is, as I rotate this, let's go extreme here. Let's turn it about 90 degrees. So now what happens if I rotate that and I put all of this back together, and I'm just gonna place my handle on there without the set screw for now. But now what happens is when I go to turn on the hot water, now my handle doesn't even go to the 9 o'clock position. And so you want to understand your shower valve first before you start blaming your water heater for not getting hot enough. This device is called a hot limiting stop or a scald guard. There's several different terms that can be used for this device, but ultimately the purpose of this device is, let's say you have small children that don't understand how shower valves work, and they don't understand, maybe a 2-year-old isn't going to understand where the handle needs to be for temperature. Well, you would not want a 2-year-old to even have access to 120 or 130 degree water. You can make an adjustment inside the valve to where no matter how they turn that valve, it won't exceed 100 degrees or 110 degrees or something like that. For bathing purposes, we're usually bathing in like 100 to 104 degree water. Even though our water heater might be set to 120, a really hot bath is like 104, 105, something like that. Anytime you're immersing your entire body in that volume of water at that temperature, it does not take as much temperature as you would think. Now, showering is going to be a little bit different because showering, you're mixing air and water together. You're not fully immersed in the water. So showering, you can be showering in like 110 to 115 degree water, and it would feel like a bath at 104 degrees. Ultimately, before we start blaming the water heater, we want to make sure that our hot limiting stop or our scald guard is not preventing our shower valve from seeing all the hot water it should see. There's a lot of times we show up to service calls and they think their water heater's a problem, and it's literally just an adjustment inside their shower valve. Now they get access to full hot water and they're good to go. In other words, they didn't need to buy a new water heater like they thought they were going to. We're gonna put this all back together here. We're gonna move on to the water heaters and show you if this is where it needs to be, then we're gonna show you what might be happening in the water heaters. Before we do that though, now that we know this is set where it needs to be, I'm gonna get all of this put back together and give you a real quick explanation of what a shower valve does. It's not what you think it does. Shower valve is put back together, we're good to go. We know that the hot limiting stop is set to where it is unlimited. It's gonna let us go all the way to the hot position, and that's good. Now, what a shower valve does is it's a blending valve. It's blending cold water and hot water together to give you the temperature of water that you're looking for. One of the things that you have to understand about shower valves is the hot water temperature remains constant throughout the year because your hot water heater does a really good job of keeping your hot water at a very consistent temperature. You could run out of hot water and your temperature is going to drop a little bit, but those are kind of extreme cases. For the most part, if your hot water heater is set to 120, it's going to give you 120 degree water. Here's where the variables come in. Based off of where you live around the nation, your cold water temperature can change wildly throughout the year. We're in the Midwest area, we're just outside of Kansas City, and in the summertime, our cold water is about 68 to 70 degrees. In the winter time, our cold water can get all the way down into the mid to high 30s. So that's a 30-degree temperature swing of cold water. Take that and apply it to what this shower valve does. You got a picture over here on the hot side, it's 120 degree water. On the cold side, it's anywhere from 30 degree water to 60 degree water, or depending on where you are in the nation, that swing could be even wilder, okay? Well, a common concern that we see is, I think my water heater's getting ready to go out because my shower handle has to go closer to the hot side in order for me to get hot water. It's very common. What it has to do with is it has to do with the incoming water temperatures are dropping dramatically. Here in the Kansas City area, the coldest time of the year for incoming water temperatures is going to be about February. So we do get these concerns a lot in February. And ultimately, our hot remains at 120, but instead of our cold being 60, our cold is now 30, or relatively. Maybe the cold was 70 and now it's 40. You get the idea. Let's say we're wanting to shower in 110 degree water. Well, if this is 120 and this is 70, then 110 is going to be about the 12 o'clock position. If winter time hits and no longer are we 70 degree cold water, now we're 40 degree cold water, but our hot water is still 120, well, now our handle is actually going to have to come closer to the hot side to blend 40 degree cold water and 120 degree hot water to get the 105 degree shower water that we're looking for, or 110, or whatever. Everyone's shower water temperature is different.